Hello there, everyone, and welcome to Radiant Moon Tarot. My name is Victoria, and today we are here mostly talking about Uranus changing signs. Uranus is on the move into the sign of Gemini. This is an electrifying energy. Uranus is known as the Great Awakener, and this is starting a brand new 7-year cycle for us all. So as we move into our weekend, we've got a lot going on in the skies. We've got a lot of planetary aspects going on. So considering we've got Uranus on the move as well, I would say try and stay a little bit grounded. Some of you are going to feel some of this energy immediately. You're going to feel some of this right away. Others of you, it'll take a little bit, but it'll always come in as a bit of a surprise to you here, because that is the nature of Uranus. So stay grounded, connect with nature, be really good for you. It can be a great weekend to do some meditation. As we start out our Friday morning, the 24th of April, Venus actually enters the sign of Gemini as well. So considering Uranus is moving in on the 25th tomorrow, this can bring some shocks and surprises and hopefully some wonderful new beginnings for you in love and romance. Can be something with if you've been needing some resources to get something done or to buy something or for a project. This can be the weekend where you seemingly magically find what you were looking for, or maybe you find something that you didn't know that you were looking for as well. We can have a little bit of magic in the air with that. Venus does bring in a lot of gentle energy to go along with this a very electrifying Uranus energy, and so this can be very social for you this weekend. It can be very chatty, and again, there can be something going on in the love and romance department. Maybe new love if you're single, or you can have a surprise engagement, something like that. If you are already coupled up, and I am sorry to say that there can be some unexpected breakups with this as well, whether it's breaking up with a friend, breaking up with a significant other, that kind of thing. Uranus is here to move us and shake us, and quite often does bring in some radical change, whether we feel we're fully prepared for it or not. Okay, but it is freeing though, and it can actually save you from something, and I'll tell you why as we go along. So Uranus and Gemini. Uranus has been in the sign of Taurus for the last 7 years. Okay, Uranus went into Gemini for a little spell last year in 2025, and in a retro, and then it went back into Taurus. So we got a little bit of a taste of certain things in our lives. We had, some, revelations and science and technology, and, maybe you had some unexpected conversations. Perhaps you awakened to something magical. And then, when Uranus went back into Taurus, it's like, okay, yeah, deal with the same old. But it's like, this is a taste of the future, but first we've got to clean up the cycle that we've been in. So Uranus and Taurus, Taurus is, earth energy. Uranus isn't totally comfortable, right? Uranus is very, very much air and electricity. Think of lightning bolts and things like that. And so Uranus and Taurus, because Taurus deals with like earthly things, it deals with agriculture, deals with climate, deals with earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that. We've seen Uranus and Taurus a lot more seismic activity over the last few years. And if you kind of think we've seen some really weird and crazy stuff going on. We've seen people become more aware to their earthly surroundings, right? Lots of videos come out. Look at this weird cloud in the sky. And then the climatologist or the meteorologist, they're like, oh yeah, that's this kind of cloud. It's extremely rare. But we seem to be hearing that a little bit more and more, right? Uranus and Taurus. Uranus and Taurus has also had us having a look at our food. Number one, we had a pandemic, right? That was a good time for everybody. And since then, the price of everything has skyrocketed through the roof. Did it ever come back down? No. Should it have? Yeah. What does that mean? Maybe some people are having some revelations about our supply chain, about large corporations making copious amounts of money off of the food needed to feed the people. Perhaps a lot of you have become a little bit aware that, hey, maybe global corporations shouldn't be making billions of dollars off of food, right? Food, everyone should have access to it, right? And maybe it's something that gets you fired up. Uranus and Taurus, right? We've seen supply chain issues, right? We saw it during the pandemic and then things settled down. So you would have thought that some prices would have gone back down. Nope. We have a little bit more, over the last, Lord knows how many years, we've had a lot of shift in our food production. Some places more than others. And let's face it, all eyes are on the U.S. right now, right? The U.S. is in its Pluto return, okay? 250 years, okay? And this is a big deal, right? This is why there's so much earth-shaking things coming out of the U.S. But throughout the globe, we've had this, big shift to highly processed foods because it's cheap for corporations to make, and they can sell it to us for Lord knows how much markup. That's why they're making billions, right? And so now Uranus is helping us awaken to the fact that, hey, maybe this isn't good for us. Maybe I kind of need to pay attention to what's in my food. And so now we're starting to see more of a shift. I mean, it's nothing new, folks, right? I mean, people in the, for donkey's years, right, have just eaten fresh. They haven't had excess packaging. How do you think people got got groceries and things back in the mid 1900s and stuff? It didn't come with, if you buy a little piece of gadget or something, it didn't come with 14 layers of plastic on it that you pretty much need a jackhammer to get through, right? It didn't come that way. They went to the baker, they went to the butcher, they went to the candlestick maker, right? They went to the mercantile, the market, right? They went to these different places. They didn't go to these monstrosity stores because it wasn't necessary. They made food at home. They were healthier for it. They ate probably more fruits and vegetables, or maybe more home-cooked meals. They didn't go through the drive-through, obviously. Fast food was a treat, not a daily occurrence, right? And so now we are seeing more of a shift with people back to that, right? So these are some of the things that Uranus in Taurus has brought us. It also brought us, some shakeups in finances. Cryptocurrency, right? We've seen some rise and fall of cryptocurrency. We've seen, cryptocurrency get built up, bought up, worth a fortune, and then all of a sudden crash. And we've seen that happen a couple of times, leading some people to question, is this really a safe place to put my money? Who's profiting off of me, right? And that's another thing. Who is profiting off of me? You're probably be a lot wealthier, right? Without so many corporations having a hand in the honeypot, so to speak. we've seen, because Taurus deals with money related things, we've seen more of a move or more talk about centralized banking, cashless society, that kind of thing. But Uranus is trying to awaken you to something. Is that really a good thing? Right? Big Brother already has a lot of eyes on you, right? And, think about, even though using your bank card or whatever everywhere is handy dandy, who's watching what you spend? Who's controlling what percentage they skim off the top? Because believe you me, like the old Vegas, Vegas mobsters, right? There's always something for the house. They always skim something right off the top before you even see it, right? And, it's a dollar transaction, a percentage of transaction, right? Someone's keeping some of your money, right? And this is why there is a push to digital currency. But think about the other things that might bring. And Uranus is like, hello, wake up, right? What does that really mean? It means that if you go away for a week and you want to hire your neighbor's kid to mow your lawn, you aren't just slipping him $20. If you want to, just loan someone some money, you're not going to be able to do that. Everything is digital. There's an eye on everything you do. And then they have control. Right? So they can cut off your services. They can cut you off at any time for your own good. Right? So, yes, while they'll push a narrative about a cashless society is good. Remember, cash has been king for thousands of years for a reason. So do your research on things like this. Don't just look and see what someone's telling you. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's just fact. Right? You have freedom with cash that you will not have with digital currency or a centralized banking system. Again, it's about control. So Uranus and Taurus has brought us a whole bunch of innovation, but also a lot of questions and a lot of return to, this isn't such a good thing. Right? We've awakened to something maybe a little bit better, right? In all these Taurus related things. Some of you may have had some shakeups with Uranus going through Taurus. Now, I had Uranus going through Taurus in my 4th house. 4th house is your home, your family, where you live, who you live with. Uranus entered Taurus mid-May 2018. 1 month later, sudden breakup, sudden move. Pack up all my things, right? Did I see it coming? No. Did I expect it? No. Did I want it? No. However, and this is where we get back to Uranus, Uranus kind of shaking things up for you, whether you're ready to or whether you feel prepared or not, because it's liberating you from something. So as we get into the next cycle of Uranus, remember that, because it did bring me a lot of freedom, and it actually saved me from a horrible relationship, to be honest with you, something that would have soured very, very quickly. And so I thank Uranus for that. But it was like, I hate moving. So, and that was like my 3rd move in like 2 years. So anyways, I really don't, I'm a nester. I'm a Cancer moon. So I'm very much a nester. I'm Aquarius sun, Sagittarius rising, and I am a Cancerian moon. And of course, Cancer is related to the 4th house, ruled by the moon, right? And hence my nesting. I don't like to move. So anyway, so it can bring some shocks and surprises. It can really rock your world, but ultimately it is liberating you from something. So before you rail at the fates with Uranus as we enter Gemini, okay, just remember that it's pushing you forward. Uranus is a very futuristic planet. Uranus brings us shakeups. Uranus and Gemini specifically. Okay, we'll move into the next 7 years. Uranus and Gemini will bring us shakeups in communication, technology, AI, social media, transportation, how we think and connect with other people. We might have something shifting there. And as we see, maybe you haven't seen it, but we've seen some court cases brought against social media companies about how they have purposely made their software incredibly addictive, especially to children and teenagers, the ones that are buried with their nose in their phone, and how detrimental it is because it's addictive. They can't think of anything else. All these filters, all these cutesy things, all this crap coming into your feed that you never asked for, right? And they've lost these court cases. So there could be some big shifts with social media when, as Uranus goes through Gemini. But we can also have breakthroughs, right? A breakthrough in how we can connect with other people in a better way. We can have radical changes in, again, science and technology, but this can bring about medical stuff as well, right? These days, there's a lot of technology that really helps doctors to diagnose people and to help heal people. So we can have that coming in there as well. We can have exciting and or chaotic shifts in our lives, right? Big awakenings. Uranus is known as the Great Awakener, an eye-opener, a liberator. Uranus does not play by the rules, and Uranus is very rebellious and revolutionary. So while this can be a very, very exciting cycle that we're entering, can also be a little bit nerve-wracking, right? So because Uranus moves fast, it moves in unexpected ways, and it does bring shocks and surprises, how it operates. Uranus is the wild card. Uranus is very difficult to predict. Because it brings the unpredictable. And therefore, we can kind of give our best guess. Like if Uranus is transiting through your fourth house, right? Like the story I just told you, then you very much may have some move-in and shake-in in who you live with, where you live, these kind of home-related things with children, things with parents, right? You could have, a whole bunch of things shifting very quickly or in surprising ways in that area, right? But you don't necessarily know what it is. And you don't know how it's going to come in either, right? Because it comes in the most unexpected left field kind of ways, right? So it's a wild card. But it does set us up for a better tomorrow because it's freeing us from something that has been holding us back or has the potential to derail us in, if we stay connected to it. And so we should actually always kind of thank Uranus, for kind of getting the earth moving going for us, even though it might be uncomfortable. Now, another thing connected with Uranus, is revolution. And this is where people kind of get a little bit freaked out. Especially in the US, right, which again is going through its Pluto return. A lot of changes, a lot of secrets, a lot of hidden things coming out of the woodwork, a lot of corruption coming out of the woodwork, being thrown in your face probably, right? Stay away from your mainstream media. You're probably not going to see the truth. Make sure you know which way your media leans. Is it independent? Is it down the center? Is it far left? Is it far right? Is it center left, center right? Is it something completely different? Is it neutral? Some are, but you got to find it because they don't want you to see it. There's corruption that's being exposed in the media, right? 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there's laws in the US that, a media company can only own a certain percentage of media outlets. And now go do your own research. And now you can see how many companies own all of the media. It's frightening. So That's Pluto, right? Pluto can bring us some great things, but it brings the truth out into the open, and it's hard to digest. But it creates change because it's hard to digest, and we need to see the truth, right? You know, you've got the files that everyone's talking about. There's some down and dirty stuff in there, right? But the people want to see it now because this is a time of a change in the evolutionary, in the old guard, right? It's time for evolution or revolution. And Uranus brings that, right? When, Uranus has been active during World War II, the U.S. Civil War, and the U.S. Revolutionary War. Every Uranus Gemini transit has transformed the U.S. In some way with the ruling parties. But it's necessary though. So Uranus again can bring us some wonderful things, but it's it'd be an eye-opener, right? Be a welcome though, right? We are in a time of dynamic change and transformation. The old ways, the old dinosaurs, they're dying away. They have to, right? Now is the time when these old farts sitting in government making decisions for the rest of us, when these guys, let's face it, I'm sorry, but if you're 80 years old and you're still in government, you're probably not really going to be around for too much longer. So why are they still there? Making decisions for people that have another 50, 60, 70 years to live, right? They're stuck in their old guard, their old school ways. It's time for the new. It's time for a shift. And 2026, all of the outer planets will have shifted into new signs in 2026. That's huge, huge for humanity. And if you're watching tarot and astrology, you know all this already. You've heard it already, but now you're feeling it. And now you're living it. And so it can be very exciting, right? But before we see the potential of the new ways, we've got to break down all the old crap first. Clean house, right? Someone said, if these, island files, right? I don't want to say the name because it'll probably get flagged in some way. But if, these files that there's a lot of distractions about get released, well, the entire government will crumble. Good. Maybe it needs to, right? So it needs to in a lot of ways because the old ways just aren't working anymore. Too many people are waking up, and we can in large part thank Uranus for that, but also Pluto for that as well, right? So a lot of awakenings happening, but a lot of shifts happening. So who's going to feel this the most? Well, if you are a later degree Taurus, 27, 28, 29 degrees, you are going to be breathing one hell of a sigh of relief. You are going to feel this first. You're going to feel like the weight has been lifted off of you. Or if you've had some butterflies in your stomach, then maybe you're going to feel a little bit peace. A peace is a good thing, right? So you're going to feel a huge sigh of relief. But remember, as a planet that has been, you've been hosting in your sign for a long time, as it leaves, right? It leaves you with something, whether it leaves you with some wisdom, whether it leaves you with something new or something better than what you had, whatever it happens to be, it's a blessing for you, right? Because it can just be an awakening, right? That eye opener. Also, if you are in the early degrees of Gemini, because Uranus starts out at 0 degrees of Gemini, a fresh start, a new beginning, a completely clean slate with unlimited possibilities and unlimited potential. So if you're a Gemini in the early degrees, 0 to 5 degrees or so, you are again going to feel this most intensely. We have a lot of potent energy when a planet again first enters a sign. It doesn't necessarily mean that that a whole bunch of things are going to happen to you in the first month or two, but they might. Remember my moving story within 1 month, when Uranus entered Taurus in my 4th house, my stability and security, right? Where I live, my home, my relationships, right? All that kind of stuff. And so that can happen, right? Doesn't mean it will to all of you, but it's a possibility. So it's pure, but think of it as pure potential, but it may require a fresh start. Also, Aquarius. Hello. Aquarius, you guys, Uranus is your modern day planetary ruler. So you are pretty much used to the shenanigans that come along with Uranus energy. You are weird, innovative, futuristic, and you are also just slightly rebellious. So you are going to feel this as well, but probably out of anybody, you are probably going to be able to navigate this energy a little bit better and easier than others. Not just because Uranus is your ruler, but also you're going to have a sextile to both Pluto and Saturn in 2026 with this, and as Uranus moves, it'll be trining Pluto for you. So this can be very supportive and very helpful for you, and you are an innovator anyway. So this can just be that help that you need. So we are going to have a look at each individual sign, but I'm just going to pull a card for the collective. Thank you very much. And see what that message is. This is beautiful. Creativity. Creativity. Express your soul energy. And Uranus and Gemini, communication, matters of the mind, what you want to build, what you want to create. So this is a time of innovation and creativity for us all. If you can envision it, you can create it no matter what. Keep an open mind. Turn your visions, turn your ideas into something gold, into something wonderful, into something beautiful. Now is the time. Let's get a tarot card for the collective as well. Queen of Cups. Again, beautiful. And again, like I said, we've got Venus entering Gemini at the same time as Uranus entering Gemini. Queen of Cups, spiritual energy, very much so, right? The awakener. So some of you are really going to be having some deeper insights, easier connection with spirit or angels or whatever divinity that you are looking to connect with, whatever deity that you're wanting to connect with, right? But it's just heightened intuition and heightened awareness of the interconnectedness of all things. The Queen of Cups can bring about a lot of creative kind of energy, right? Is beautiful, but it also brings in some healing. But if you look at this Queen of Cups, she's facing the future, right? That's her back, I think. It looks like her back anyway. That's her back. She's facing the future, all eyes forward, all eyes ahead. We're not looking back. We're only looking to the future. Beautiful messages there. Anyway, I'll leave that there for you guys. Let's just get into each sign. I'll pull a couple of cards for each sign, tell you what house Uranus is transiting through for you, and go from there. Put timestamps down below. Hello there, Aries, and welcome to your Uranus in Gemini transit, a new 7-year cycle for you. This is happening in your third house. So third house is the house Gemini. So you could be on the cusp of a major breakthrough. Something, that you've been thinking about, right? Something with science and technology. Maybe you get a new job. Perhaps you retrain for something. You're like, I see the future and I need to get aligned with it, right? So, perhaps you are learning something with AI or with technology in some way. You could, on the very mundane, get yourself a new car, right? But you could have big awakenings, right? Because the matters of the mind and communication are what is highlighted for you with the third house. And so whatever vision you have, whatever you want to communicate, your communication styles may be changing, right? You may be having a spiritual awakening, you could just be, kind of in the energy where you're awakening to the truth of things as well, right? So all matters of the mind, Gemini energy, Mercury rules the third house as well. Okay. And innovate is going to be your best way forward through this transit. You might get situations where you might be a little bit overwhelmed with communication, right? Because, Uranus does bring in chaos sometimes. And so through frustration, because of being overloaded and overwhelmed, right? So, if you have an office job, maybe your emails are just getting out of hand. You may have, you may like really set up some boundaries, or perhaps you might be a revolutionary change in how your company deals with communication and emails, right? It's like, I've had it. This is enough. We got to do something different because we're not efficient anymore. We're a slave to our emails. Right. So you could be the forefront, the leader of that revolutionary kind of energy. Lead the charge there, Aries. Okay. But let's see what the cards have in store for you. And we've got dragons coming out. Send dragons to heal the world. And so, again, this can have some healing properties with it. Now, a dragon, a fire-breathing dragon, right? Dragons are fearless. Dragons are also great protectors as well. So, sometimes here, in this dragon energy, sometimes you need to protect your ideas from theft, right? Don't share too much. If you've got an idea for something, especially if it involves money or anything like that, right? You might need to kind of keep some ideas to yourself, okay? Dragons can also, they are the guardians of some ancient wisdom. Okay. This can bring you closer to spirit, right? This can be some wisdom that you can use in your real world, your day-to-day world as well. But you're awakening the energy of dragons. Now, of course, we do have a lot of different energies in, in other realms, and dragons are actually from the angelic realm. And so they're here to protect you, to guide you, and to help you take flight, right? Take flight with whatever it is that you are wanting to create. So it's a beautiful energy. They will help to guide you. They will help to protect you. They will help you overcome obstacles, challenges that you may face in your day-to-day. Dragons are also represent a call to service, okay? So you might be drawn to something that can help others, right? And again, Uranus in Gemini can bring about some technological advances, especially in like healthcare, right? And so if you are, so inclined, right, that might be part of your calling. But dragon energy can help you to, get into the flow, to see the light, and so work with some energy of dragons to help you in your future. Some of you really love working with dragon energy. Some of you maybe you never have. So this can be a good time to open up the door to a rabbit hole. But let's see what else we've got. We've got 2 tarot cards that came out for you. We've got the Page of Swords, Uranus and Gemini. There it is right there. A lot of times people do associate the Page of Swords with Aquarian energy, right? Because it is curious. It is, it has got a sense of wonder, right? Some, ideas, is open to communication and innovation and also technology. So the Page of Swords really a focus on communication, matters of the mind, and again, taking flight with your ideas. We've got the Six of Swords here as well that came out. And so the Six of Swords, if you've been feeling that you've been having a bumpy ride, at the time of this reading, we've had a lot of stuff happening in your sign. So maybe you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. But the Six of Swords shows forward movement to better times ahead. So this is your opportunity here to create change, right? To turn difficulties into triumphs and success. Some of you may actually move with this energy as well, because that Six of Swords can be a journey, right? But whatever it happens to be, whether it's matters of the mind, matters of communication, matters of where you live, where you work, whatever it is, the Six of Swords says things might be challenging now, but you're moving forward to a better tomorrow and calm seas ahead. This is also another card of protection, right? The Six of Swords reminds you that you are always guided and protected, and you've got some protection and some healing energy coming in with the dragon there as well. So there could be, number one, you could just be, if you've been, you are a fairly fearless sign, but sometimes, things can, feel bigger than us, right? And so I feel that this is just saying, hey, you know what? We've got your back, Jack. And so whatever it is you're doing, we're there for you, right? It's like your little, your spiritual cheering squad, but also, helping you overcome hurdles, or helping you to be brave or go against the grain, right? So it's bringing you that sense of relief, just that calm hand on your shoulder, right? Is what they're bringing you there. So always guided and always protected, all right? I'll leave that there for you guys, and good luck in this transit. Don't be afraid of it, okay? Because it can bring you wonderful things, but again, sometimes it can bring in a little bit of, bumpy seas. This is the way it is. All right, but I hope you enjoy your transit. Hello there, Taurus, and welcome to your Uranus in Gemini transit, the next 7 years for you guys. Whew, can we all just breathe a collective sigh of relief that Uranus is no longer in your sign? This can be a little bit easier for you, and perhaps things may just settle down a little bit. However, this transit, it's still kind of close to home for you, because this is transiting through your second house. And so your second house, of course, you are the ruler of the second house. Okay. So, so this can just be familiar territory, a little bit easier for you to navigate. Second house of money and income, the things you own, the things you buy, how you invest your money, how you save your money. So you could have some changes going on here, but you can also have some new beginnings, or you could really just have this aha moment for you here in this as well. But the second house, of course, is also your belief systems around money, and your value, your self-worth, right? And so, if you've been feeling inadequate, or you don't feel deserving of things, Uranus is probably going to wake you up a little bit and say, yes, you are. And it's going to show you why, right? Or it's going to show you how. It's just the way it works. So we have creativity. There you go. All right. So as Uranus leaves your sign, Uranus may create opportunities for you. So are you going to walk through the portal? Are you going to walk into the opportunity, take advantage of it? Or are you going to stay where you are? So the creative energy really is flowing through you, opening doors, doing something different, doing something new, creating the life that you love, following a vision, dreaming big, right? And this is your opportunity to do that. Uranus and Gemini will probably feel a lot faster than it was when it was going through your sign. So things might be a little bit more tickety-boo, a little bit more on the ball. If you maybe had some procrastination, or you just felt like things weren't moving for you, with Uranus in your sign, expect that to change just a little bit. Okay, but express your soul energy. What does that look like to you? Some of you may get innovative with business, create the business that you want, expand your business, or decide just to do something very different. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. Isn't that a beautiful card for you? This peacock strutting its stuff. Now the Nine of Pentacles is the end of a successful cycle. You're wrapping up the loose ends. You're getting things done. You're closing the chapter. You're closing the door. Woohoo! And now I feel here with the Nine of Pentacles showing up in creativity, it's your time to reap all of the benefits and all of the rewards that Uranus has left you. Uranus is like hasta la vista. It's been nice seeing you. You've been a gracious host. And now I'm going to leave you some gifts. It's up to you whether you pick them up or not. The Nine of Pentacles is one where we are successful, we're independent, we're feeling good. It is a card of luxury. So it's time to not just reap some rewards here, but it is also time to, really kind of treat yourself to something. Whether it's the gift of time or the gift of something you've been saving for, right? Whatever it is, treat yourself because you deserve it. The Nine of Pentacles is also, really reminding you of how far you've come and that you may have made a lot of progress in taming your anxieties and fears, right? And now you're feeling more confident, you're feeling better, and maybe you're feeling like the top of the world. So this can be some great energy, but this can represent that over the next 7 years, hopefully faster than that with Uranus here, is that, something that comes from your soul, something that you create, okay, brings you success. And with the Nine of Pentacles, financial success, most likely. Okay, so whatever that is for you, all right? So enjoy, reap the rewards of this transit, and, always be nice to Uranus, but, Uranus is there to help mostly, but usually in weird ways. But I feel like it's a time of great success for you. So I'll leave that there for you guys. Thank you for watching and good luck with this transit. Hello there, Gemini, and welcome to your Uranus transit. Are you ready for the next 7 years, Gemini? Buckle up your seatbelt, strap yourself in. You are in for Mr. Toad's wild ride. And now this can actually be really beneficial for you, really helpful for you. Uranus and Taurus, because Taurus is a earth sign, Uranus is very fast moving and, air-based, right? Uranus and Taurus can be very unstable in its energy. And even though Uranus, brings us breakups and shakeups and, all kinds of wild energy and things that we just blow our minds or we didn't expect, I feel like Uranus and Gemini is going to be incredibly beneficial. Yes, it will still, shake you out of a rut, shake you out of stagnant energy and maybe, make you uncomfortable, right? But ultimately, Uranus rules the Fool card, right? The Fool is all about new adventures, new beginnings, but we've got to take a leap of faith. We've got to trust in the process. We've got to put our first foot forward and see where the path takes us, right? And just deal with whatever happens along our journey. And so when you have Uranus going through your first house, it's all about you, right? Your goals, your dreams, what you want, your ability to create, and, how you think, how you act, maybe even as well, because we act upon our thoughts. Sometimes we act upon our dreams. And, this can be really helpful for you to open your mind to some great possibilities, great wonder. Some of you, Gemini, you are already involved in technology or the communication fields, things like that. And, so this can be where, you might discover something, you might make a discovery, whether it's something that can help humanity or whether it's something that's specific to your field, right? This can be a huge breakthrough for you, right? So your first house, your goals, your dreams, but you might find that you are more willing to let things go with Uranus in your sign because Uranus wants you to be free. and not necessarily free of all attachments, right? Like Uranus doesn't want you to just to dump all your friends for freedom, unless, of course, those friendships have run their course. But like free, like I'm going to be me. I'm going to be unique. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be true to who I am. I'm going to have my eye on the future and keep that vision, hold that vision, and see where I want to go, right? So we're freeing ourselves from restriction, right? So channel your inner rebel and connect with Uranus, because he's really going to help you to move forward. So expect the unexpected, though. Let's see what cards we got here for you. Animals, honor the animal kingdom. Okay, some of you might get a new pet. Maybe you get a new job helping animals. Perhaps you develop some sort of technology that can help animals, maybe a paralyzed animal walk, or some like X-ray machine or something that's more comfortable for animals. Who knows? But whatever it is, okay, something is connecting with animals here. Now this can actually also be animal spirit, right? Uranus, remember, is the great awakener. And we can awaken to the truth. We can awaken to the light, right? But we can awaken to spirit as well. And so if you really love animals, right, then you might actually have some hidden gifts, right? We discover something here. You could have some hidden gifts, and perhaps you might end up being, maybe just working with animals, but you could also do something more spiritual. You could be, maybe specialize in animal Reiki. Perhaps an animal medium. They exist. Yes, they do. And not just for animals that have passed to the Rainbow Bridge either, right? There are mediums out there that can help to, sounds weird, right? But it can help to communicate with your living pet to determine what may be wrong with them, right? And not necessarily for medical advice, right? Although it can lead to that path, right? So maybe something to do with anything like that. But you may just be connecting with animal spirits more, and this can actually be where you figure out who your animal guide is. They do change. They can change as we evolve, okay? But so you might discover one, or perhaps you might just find it easier to connect with animal guides. Got the Knight of Swords. Fast moving 7 years for you. The Knight of Swords. Imagine seeing that hornet coming towards you. You'd run pretty freaking fast. The Knight of Swords. Innovation. Fast communication. Clear communication. Quick decisions, can be a little bit impulsive sometimes with the Knight of Swords. So just be a little bit aware of that. Okay, connect with the earth and the animals, okay, if you feel that things are getting a little bit out of your control. Always a good thing to do that. Take solace in your pets, okay? Some of you may get a new pet, all right? Or you might get a weird pet, right? Instead of just a cat or a dog, maybe you get something, I don't know, something a little stranger, maybe a bird that's not that strange, but maybe something in the reptile kingdom. I don't know. But you might get something a little bit unusual, perhaps there. But remember, think before you do with the Knight of Swords. Okay, we don't want to get some weird pet on some impulse. Okay, you might want to do some research into how to care for them first, and make sure anyone else in your household is willing to have a weird pet, because some people are only comfortable with those with 4 legs and fur. Okay, just saying. But the Knight of Swords, fast moving energy, a lot of thoughts, a lot of communication, a lot of innovation here. We're, if we have an idea, we're running with it, right? Not going to, lollygag on anything here. So this can be really wonderful for you. So if you feel like you've been procrastinating on something, or maybe you might be a little bit, 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door kind of thing, you're figuring it out with this. I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching, and good luck with this transit. Hello there, Cancer, and welcome to your Uranus in Gemini reading. So a 7-year cycle for you with Uranus going through your 12th house. Woo, okay. Now our 12th house is hidden. Okay, it's you know, a little bit of seclusion or isolation. It can be incredibly spiritual. All right, so you could be experiencing a major awakening, okay, over the next 7 years. By the time this transit is done, you will probably not even recognize who you used to be. And that's not a bad thing, right? It's evolutionary, right? It's a growth period for you on many different levels. So the 12th house does bring about spiritual growth, very connected with your subconscious, okay? It can be the end of a karmic chapter for you as well, a karmic cycle for you. You've paid your karmic debt, all right? And this is freeing you from that. Remember, Uranus is an awakener and also brings us freedom. This may also represent some endings. Okay, so you could have some surprising endings going on in your life. The 12th house can sometimes be a little bit more behind the scenes. You know, so it can be like about people around you, right? Or things internally within you. So things that may affect you, but maybe not necessarily so directly, right? Although they can, okay? They can. The 12th house, you know, in everyday mundane life, right, can be things like hospitals and things like that. You know, so take care of your health, right? You know, this might be where you do pay a little bit more attention to your health. But this can be about things that you can't see, at least not right now. So you may have some things that come to light. You may have some, you know, revelations, right, that whether they come from you or other people, okay, who knows? But pay attention to your dreams as well, because the 12th house is very connected to your dreams, not just the symbolism in your dreams, that can be important for you as well, but actually your vision, right? Your vision. What are you dreaming about? What life do you want? Where do you see yourself, right? If you daydream, what does that look like to you? Because this can be a time for you to shake things up and say, I'm going to take a chance. Uranus is connected with the Fool, right? The Fool card. So yes, there's maybe some things that we don't know, right? Naive energy. It's like, la-di-da-di-da, I'm just going to go see where this goes. But it can also be a great energy, right? Because it's like, I'm going to go and do this thing. I don't know where it's going to go. I might not have all of the information that I need, but I think I'm feeling comfortable. I'll just deal with it with whatever comes up when it comes up. And we just leap right in. Right, we take a leap. So you may be getting prepared to take a leap of faith, right? A leap of something new, changing something, or following your dreams. We have unicorns. Oh, lovely, beautiful energy. Spread the light of unicorns. There's a lot of magic within you here with this energy. Some people will tap into unicorn energy for authenticity, to to remember that you are unique, you're one of a kind, your dreams, your visions, your life is not meant to be the same as anyone else. You are your own unicorn. Some of you, a spirit guide for you, right, may be of the unicorn realm. And so this can be something really positive for you to connect with, okay? Third eye can be connected with unicorn, right? The horn on their head, right where your third eye would be, okay? But very spiritual energy with the unicorns. Unicorns bring spiritual downloads to people so that you can blossom and grow and expand. Work with unicorn energy at a full moon. This brings extra high frequency blessings of love and health, ascension. Unicorns are known to be connected sometimes with healers, and so this can be part of your awakening there as well. But whatever your situation is, the unicorn energy is bringing you, showering you with blessings. Beautiful. I've got the Ace of Cups. Isn't that lovely? The Ace of Cups, new beginnings of all kinds, anything connected with the heart and spirit. Ace of Cups is new love, finding things that you love, love of self. can also bring in healing, and your 12th house energy can bring in healing as well, right? We figure out, where do I need to let go of things? What am I holding on to? Where do I need healing? And so this can bring that in for you. It can bring peace, love, forgiveness, all kinds of wonderful things. But also the Ace of Cups brings happiness and joy and creativity, connection with spirit, right? All of these things that bring you blessings and love and, just a sense of being connected. So wonderful. You could have new friends. You could have a new outlook on life. Again, spiritual awakening. You might meet a new friend in the spiritual realm, perhaps there as well. But the Ace of Cups, aces do bring about new, fresh energy, some innovation, which is great. But they also do bring in a little bit of luck. So luck and blessings are coming along with the unicorn as well. Enjoy this energy. Okay. Enjoy this energy. And just remember, you may not necessarily see things right away with this, right? Uranus does tend to, kind of come out of left field sometimes. And your 12th house, things that are hidden, things that are in your subconscious, things that are maybe in the dark. Sometimes they're scary things, so we can deal with our fears and things like that as well. But I feel like the light will find you here with this. You may find that over the next 7 years, you are more appreciative of your alone time. And you may seek it out a little bit more, right? Because the 12th house can, bring about the need to be, the need for a little bit of solitude, right? Because we can connect or we can just sit, right? And we can just be. And sometimes that's just what we need. Anyway, I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching. Good luck in this transit. I'll see you guys later. Hello there, Leo, and welcome to your Uranus in Gemini reading. New 7-year cycle for you with your 11th house being activated. So your 11th house is your house of friendships, social connections, right? So, what a better place to have, to have Uranus and Gemini with this. So you might find that you're going to have some changes in, connecting with people, either how you connect with people or who you connect with and associate with. Some of you are reevaluating social media with this as well, because the 11th house does have to do with social media. So you might be like, I'm going to ditch Facebook, right? Or I'm going to, change. Lily, stop that. Stop it. Sorry, I have my cat trying to climb up on the table and say hello to you. Oh, Leo, haha, cat. There you go. She is right beside me here. Sorry for the disruption. She's right there. Hello, lily pad. So anyway, but she's hitting on my tripod here. So, okay, get down. Sorry about this, folks. There you go. She's very persistent. Okay, there we go. So yes, your 11th house, you might be deciding which social media companies to either ditch or stick with. But your 11th house is ruled by Uranus anyway, okay? And it does bring some Aquarian energy. So it does bring a sense of freedom or needing to find freedom. It also brings a sense of kind of like the social justice. So you might discover your humanitarian side with this as well, right? Because you care about humanity. And so something may get you riled up, right? Especially with Uranus there. It's like, this is a social injustice. This shouldn't be happening. This isn't right. And now you're fired up and now I want to change it, right? So it could really light a fire under you. But your 11th house is also about your wishes. And, so you could have a focus on what you're wishing for. You could have a wish coming true, and liberty. Right? And Uranus brings liberty and freedom to you anyway. So freedom from the things that don't work and the ability to, transform or change something for the better in society. And you guys are leaders anyway, here, Leo. So, if someone can take the lead, take charge and be fearless, about making some positive change for humanity, it's probably you. Okay. Channel your inner lion. Well, this can be really helpful for you. The 11th house does tend to be quite sparkly, right? So, so this can be, fairly sparkly for you, or maybe you find your happiness What makes me sparkle? What makes me feel good, right? And this can be helpful for you in that. Angels, ask the angels. Now, again, Uranus is our wild card, and Uranus can bring us innovation and change and all these things. But Uranus is also our awakener. So you may be drawn to the angelic realm. Perhaps you're awakening to your inner medium, your inner channeler. Or, you might just be inclined to you might discover, how do I want to say, because the 11th house is about our connections, our social connections, our friendships. It can activate some, spiritual energy, spiritual connection. I feel like you may have an opportunity, or you're drawn to angels in some way. No, but maybe in a slightly different way than other people might. Sometimes we go to people, friends, angels can be friends. Sometimes we go to people for a transaction, right? Like if you're wanting love, right? Maybe you go to Archangel Raphael, or you want to manifest, you might go to Metatron. Or if you want some protection and healing, right? You might go to Michael. And, sometimes as humans, we forget to connect until we really need something. But I feel like a door may be opening for you, or an interest probably within you might be welling up, where you're like, well, I want to connect with angels on a deeper level. I don't just want to go to angels when I need help. Granted, they'll never say no, right? They're always there. So I feel like you might be focusing more on developing friendships and relationships with the angelic realm in some way. Probably not all of you, right? But certainly some of you. And this is where you talk to the angels, right? Whether you hear them back or not, they're always there. They'll send you signs in some interesting ways. If you're open to seeing it. But I feel like, you want to form a deeper bond, right? And so you'll go to your angels just to say hi, just to chat. You don't need anything from them, right, at that time, but you're just developing a closer bond. And, when we do that, just like friendships, right, in our human lives, if you have that friend, that neighbor, where you only talk to that neighbor when you need something from the neighbor, a cup of sugar, some cream for your coffee, can you watch my house while I'm away? But you don't connect on any other level. It's a transactional relationship. It's hollow. So I feel like there's this maybe need for a deeper bond. And maybe it's not angels, maybe it's spirit guides, it could be animal spirits, that kind of thing, past loved ones, right? But, sometimes the portal opens up via angels. So anyway, if you need help, if you're confused, or if you just want to form a friendship and a relationship with a particular angel, or maybe a whole bunch of different ones, doesn't matter, right? Then I feel that pathway is opening up for you. But in times of struggle or doubt or confusion, call upon the angels. They are always there, right? And it's just, I feel that some of you are just going to have that need, that desire, and the ability for a deeper bond. And we've got the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is fast, speedy energy, that's for sure. The Eight of Wands in your 11th house, right? Lots of communication, right? But positive communication, good communication. Making new friends, moving on if we're no longer connected to certain people. In the Eight of Wands, we can get some really good news. We can have a lot of things on the go. Things are moving forward in a positive way. It can be about eight of wands, can be about manifestation and abundance, but is also connected with your wishes. So, this is usually good news and forward momentum in whatever it is that you are wishing for. So keep an eye on the future. Know that in the Eight of Wands, whatever challenges or obstacles come up, you leapfrog over them, right? So you clear them with ease. So don't get too hung up on issues and on problems. Know that you can get past anything, as long as you look past the problem. Sometimes we look too much at the problem. We always, of course, need to know what the problem is, right? But sometimes we focus too much on the problem, and that's where we get stuck, right? So if you look past it, you usually find the solution, and you usually find a better way. Well, I'm going to leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching, for tuning in. Good luck in this cycle, in this transit, and see you guys later. Hello there, Virgo, and welcome to your Uranus in Gemini reading. This is ushering in a 7-year cycle, and you will experience this in your 10th house. Now, your 10th house is your career, your reputation. Your 10th house is bringing in Saturn energy, some Capricorn energy here. So, focusing on your goals. And you might have something shifting, changing here with your public image. So you might be changing things up a little bit, but you could also get honored, rewarded, and recognized for something. So this can be a great 7-year cycle here for you, as far as your career, your reputation, your achievements, your status in the world, and things like that go. Your ability to influence others, people, situations, may also get stronger and stronger. But having said that, your 10th house with Uranus there, you could also have some sudden unexpected changes. You might all of a sudden decide that you are not in the right career path. And you might decide to go back to school, or perhaps you already have a skill set and you're like, okay, you know what? I need a new job for not just more money, but also maybe to work for a company that I feel is more in alignment with my values, right? You can have that. Your reputation can precede you as well. And so you might get a job offer out of the blue, right? Thank you, Uranus. Okay. But certainly with Uranus here, something is shifting and changing and something is evolving here. And this can potentially be really profitable or leading you down a more fulfilling path. Also if you have a really good reputation, right? It can actually open doors for you, but it can also make things easier for you, to create change, to do things your own way, right? Because the old ways maybe don't work, and now you're like, hey, you know what? I've got a better way. Maybe we can do it this way. So, your career and reputation very much highlighted for you here. We have our beautiful planet restore the natural world. Okay. Now this is a card for the future. All right. You are an earth sign. So, and you are healers. So our beautiful planet. So what can you do, either in small ways or big ways, to help restore our wonderful planet? Perhaps you go through your house and you're like, I'm trying to get rid of all of my plastic packaging, all of my Tupperware containers, any plastic bottles, and I'm going to go with glass, or I'm going to go with metal, things that don't break down. Because hey, let's face it, right? Microplastics and things like that are really becoming a problem. Right. And, some of the harder plastics, not as much of a problem, especially the softer ones, like bottles, like holy moly. We create so much waste, right, in our environment that we never used to create. So you might be looking back to, well, how did my grandmother do this? Or, what did they do in the olden days, right? Whatever the olden days means for you. Well, I tell you, they didn't package things in 14 layers of plastic that you need, that you can't get through, right? So these things can be really important to you and really highlighted for you with this. And this can also be your call to action. right? Restore the natural world. Perhaps if you have a house, maybe in your front yard, instead of planting grass, maybe you turn it into an edible garden, right? So maybe you've got some bee and butterfly pollinators, some flowers out there that are good for them, because without bees and pollination and things, then nothing's going to grow. But then maybe you plant, things you can eat, things you can freeze, things like that, especially with the cost of like food and things like that these days, right? And of course, there is a larger movement these days to, probably in part thanks to Uranus and Taurus, but these days towards more organically grown food, or food that is locally produced, right? That doesn't have a massive carbon footprint behind it, right? Or, if you live in, say, Alaska, or, in Canada, right? And, obviously your growing season isn't 12 months of the year, right? Do you want your tomatoes from Mexico, or do you want to grow them in your garden, right? You can preserve them, so you could be doing things like that, right? Or again, just planting some flowers that benefit the birds and the bees, that can be part of it. But whatever it is, right, you're called upon in some way, okay, to help restore the natural world. We also have the Nine of Pentacles. I love that. Love that. The Nine of Pentacles, of course, was our community card that we got out. And this is about feeling successful, about feeling good. A peacock strutting its feathers, just like your 10th house and your reputation. So I feel like you are on a reputational high here. You're on a career path that can bring you great success, okay? For some of you, it may require changing something. It may require going back to school, but maybe it's just about getting out of your comfort zone. And if anyone is going to help you get out of your comfort zone, it is Uranus, okay? Remember that Uranus does rule the Fool card. Jump right in, take a leap. Right? Get out of your comfort zone. That's where your riches and your magic awaits you. But the Nine of Pentacles does remind you also that you work hard, okay? All your life you work hard, and you deserve to reap some rewards and to do something nice for yourself. So in the spirit of the Nine of Pentacles, which is a card of luxury and indulgence, okay, do something for you. Just for you, not for anyone else. Virgo, just for you, okay? What is that? Buy yourself something. Practice some self-care in some way. Go to the spa, right? What does it look like to you? Do something for you to celebrate your success. You could also have an increase in money coming in, not just in 2026, but also over the course of the next 7 years, as Uranus goes through this house for you. So I'll leave that there. Good luck in this transit. See you guys next time. Hello there, Libra, and welcome to your Uranus in Gemini transit, a 7-year cycle for you. And this is activating your 9th house. Now, your 9th house is actually pretty good. So for some of you, you might be traveling to new places, maybe some places that you've been dreaming of, because the 9th house, we do tend to go on long trips. Sometimes those trips may involve something that we learn, right? Now, you could be traveling abroad for school, that kind of thing. Some of you, maybe you've just graduated, or you're going to graduate maybe this year, and you're like, I'm going to go backpacking through Europe, right? Always fun, always an adventure, still doable. For some of you, maybe you're going to travel to places where you enjoy the architecture or the history, things like that. I love exploring castles. Myself, past time since I was a child, anywhere we ever go. And of course, I'm from England originally. So, going and exploring castles on all of our visits, especially dilapidated ones, was always a pleasure. So anytime I travel to Europe or to the UK or anything like that, I always go and seek those out. Maybe you want to go to Egypt or something to see the pyramids, right? Before maybe they're gone, right? You never know. So sometimes sometimes we travel with a purpose, or we get an extra benefit, that we didn't intend for, right? So, learning about different cultures and history and things like that. The ninth house is where you go back to school. Not necessarily, for 4 or 5 years to get a new degree, although some of you, maybe that might be the case. But sometimes it's because it does focus on higher education. So if you're looking for a better paying job, or maybe there's a career change in your future, this is where you go back and take some courses to help you to be able to do that. This is also about your spirituality, organized religion, and your belief systems. So again, some of you here may be experiencing a shift in your belief systems, but maybe it's one of those things where you're opening up spiritually, but there's still some traditional things that you don't want to let go of. They're important to you. Maybe they just make moral sense to you, that kind of thing. So you might be kind of, thinking, well, can I blend these together? Sure, of course you can. Why not? Right? Don't be, remember, Uranus helps you to be non-conforming. Okay? But even in a non-conformist belief system, there's still room for the traditions. All right? Your belief systems are unique to you because they're what works for you, right? So mix and match. A lot of our belief systems these days are a little bit of something and a little bit of something else. Right? Not always necessarily cut and dried. Your ninth house also has to do with publishing. Great time to start a journal or publish your novel or your short stories. Some of you may want a career change. Maybe you're a journalist and you're like, I don't know if this is, a good job for me anymore, right? And, or maybe you want to change and go into that so that you can, bring back the integrity of journalism, that kind of thing. This is a great opportunity to expand your higher mind and to really get your big ideas get clarity around your big ideas, and then do something with them. Ninth house, great house. We've got the waters of the planet bless the rain, rivers, and oceans. So some of you may be, traveling, over bodies of water. Some of you may be learning some sort of skill or a craft, right? Remember, the ninth house, it doesn't have to be about like traditional education, right? We're just learning stuff. So maybe you want to learn how to surf, or maybe you want to learn how to swim if you don't know how to do that. Perhaps you want to learn more about your rivers and the oceans and the planets, and maybe you go down like a little rabbit hole. It's not necessarily for a career, just because you're interested in it. Some of you might want to live near a body of water somewhere around. So water does play a key role. Now, water is also cleansing, it's healing. Water is very powerful, and water is also connected with spirit. So again, this spiritual growth or awakening your higher mind, right? This is all coming into play for you. But this is a deck about the future and how can you make the future better. So your message is coming in tied to rain, rivers, oceans, any bodies of water, probably babbling brooks, lakes, ponds, things like that as well. And, what can you do to help make the earth a healthier, happier place, right? So it could be getting rid of plastic and going back to like glass or metal, right? Not just that it's healthier for you so that these little microplastics and things don't leach into you, but also to save the planet, right? The big, great Pacific garbage patch, right? Growing all the time, and we didn't create so much waste back in the old days, right? There wasn't layers of plastic just to seal in an apple, or something. And, so sometimes the old ways are the better ways, right? Everyone's making a big deal about composting. My great grandparents were composting, right? It's not new. Okay. It's just that it's getting a renaissance, I guess, but it is good for the environment, right? But you got to do it right. All right. Basically, if it came from the earth, it can go back to the earth. All right. That's the general rule of thumb. Anyways, so something there with the planet Earth and water. And we've got the Two of Swords flipped on its head. All right. So we got the reversal coming out there for you. I feel like you're going to replace indecision with clarity and decision. If you've been not sure about where you want to go, I think you're going to get a clear path, a clear direction. If you've been in a crossroads in your life, again, I feel like it's going to be all ships forward. All right. Because in the Two of Swords in the upright, right, we can be at a crossroads. We can be a little bit undecided. We can only see things in black and white sometimes. In the Two of Swords reversed, maybe you see the hidden path, right? But there is sometimes a little bit of a reminder with the Two of Swords reversed, okay, is that trust your intuition, trust your inner instincts, right? Because this will always guide you and always lead you, okay? And, we want to rip the blinder off, right? Normally Two of Swords in the upright, right? We've got the blinder on, we've got swords crossed over our chest. And so sometimes that can be about keeping things out or not being willing to see something with the blindfold, but the blindfold can also indicate going within and trusting your inner wisdom. And so the Two of Swords in reverse, we've taken the blindfolds off, our swords are no longer crossed over our chest, okay? And so either we're welcoming in some external influence, or we're just willing to see the truth, or we've gained clarity and insight, we're more open, we're more, again, if we've been feeling like a little bit stuck, right, we get that clarity to move forward, but sometimes again, it's hard to take the blindfold off, right, because sometimes there's things that we don't want to see. Okay, so I feel like you're awakening up to a whole new world, or you're getting that clarity that you need, and we're no longer in a crossroads. But just be aware, just make sure again here, because the twos represent balance and harmony. Twos also represent duality. Okay, and with Uranus and Gemini is a sign of duality. Okay, we've got the light side, we've got the dark side, the light side. Sometimes Gemini energy can be two-faced, so be careful of that. And again, that's where your intuition will really guide you, and also your inner wisdom, right? Two of Swords reminds you that you have the ability to make your own decisions, and based on the wisdom that you have internally, we know what's right. Internally, we know what's wrong, right? We don't need always other people's influence or, how should we say, approval. Okay, trust yourself. All right, leave that there for you guys. Good luck in this Uranus and Gemini planet. Balance is going to be very important for you to keep an eye on over the next 7 years, because Uranus and Gemini can throw you out of whack really quite quickly. Okay. It can be really wonderful for you, fellow air sign, right? But sometimes things move really fast. So make sure that you maintain a balanced equilibrium somewhere. Okay. Just because you can very quickly get out of alignment here. Okay. And being in harmony with things is important for you. Okay, so just a reminder. So I'll leave that there for you guys. Good luck in this transit. Some of the things you'll experience are going to be in 2026. Others, they're going to be spread out over the next 7 years. Okay, and I always feel like when a planet enters a sign, often we do get the first taste of it, and we do get it fairly quickly, and especially with Uranus. So there could be some interesting stuff going on for you guys, and hopefully some doors of opportunity. So I thank you guys for watching. Hello there, Scorpio, and welcome to your Uranus and Gemini reading. So we have this for you in your 8th house. So, a little bit of experience may really be on your side because, of course, the 8th house is you. So we also do have a connection with Aquarius and Pluto with your 4th house. in this as well as coming in. So, there could be some changes in your home, who you live with. Maybe you are, buying a new home, moving to a new area, new location. That can happen as well. Of course, the 8th house can have to do with other people's money. So there could be inheritances coming in for you, maybe 2026, but maybe later in the Uranus Gemini cycle. You could be changing how you relate to other people or change how you communicate with other people. You could have a change in dynamic in your house, your home, but your 8th house is change and revolution, ruled by Pluto and Aquarius, right? So, you could, you certainly get a little bit of extra helping hand in making some adjustments if you need to. And so, so your 8th house is endings, beginnings, taxes, inheritances, the things that you share or possess with other people, loans. So some of you could potentially pay off a loan, or maybe you take out a loan. It might have to, you might be joined with another person with that potentially. So a lot of changing dynamics come in with the 8th house, but you are a master of your craft. You're used to this energy. So just like Aquarians are used to the Uranus energy, you are, connected with Aquarius and Pluto, and this can help you with the Uranus and Gemini energy here as well. I do feel that some of you are going to be very deeply connected with spirit here with this also. You may even connect. Maybe you might feel the need to connect with other people in a spiritual way, whether you just want to get a reading from somebody or whether you kind of join together and maybe like a meditation group or something like that. That may or may not be your thing, right? Wouldn't be my thing, but it might be some people's things, right? So you could be doing anything like that. But inevitably, change. Isn't that nice? So, but you can have some unexpected things coming up for you guys as well. Remember your gifts and powers. Number 33, blueprint for 5D humanity. There's your spiritual growth right there. And Scorpio, a lot of you, not only are you very creative, right? But you've got spiritual gifts. Okay, some big ones. All right, you can see beyond that veil. Okay. For some of you, it's maybe just the time of year that you were born, right? For others of you, it's just the scorpionic energy, right? And you're able to see what others cannot see, right? You can see into the dark, right? And that's that Pluto energy can help you, because Pluto can bring in growth and evolution in all areas, right? But also spiritual growth and evolution here as well. And so this is you not just, for some of you, maybe you've had a lot of things going on and you may have fallen off and fallen away from your connection with spirit. And it's just the path that you're on, right? It's no biggie. It's just the path that you're on. And sometimes we drift in and out of that connection because we've got human stuff to deal with. Right. And, so sometimes that takes priority. So I feel like you're being drawn back into the fold, but also your ability to really level up here is being activated in a hugely powerful way. Okay. So step into your power. But I also do feel that some of you here, you may be the vehicle that guides some others through some of their process. Might just be a friend, might be a family member. Maybe some of you, set up a workshop or class or something, right? But that path may be revealed for you. We've got the 8 of Pentacles. Maybe some of you are going to do something with your spiritual gifts for a living. The 8 of Pentacles is all about our working hard. But this is about honing your skill, honing your craft, right? And so, again, I feel like some of you are either about to level up, because the 8 of Pentacles is, we've been working hard, we've been gaining knowledge and experience, but we're ready. We're ready to take the next step. We're ready to level up. Okay. And so, I do feel that some of you are really going to feel this shift, like big time. You're going to be rewarded for everything that you've been learning and all of your experiences thus far. But I also do feel like some of you here, again, you might do something that engages spiritual practice for a living. So again, like a workshop or something like that you may have, or, maybe you've got some mediumship skills and things like that. And that might be how you can help humanity in some way. The Eight of Pentacles as well, on a very practical level, can represent that whatever you do for a living, you're ready for a change, okay? Or you may have like things like a promotion and things like that. Leveling up, you're upping yourself in your finances here. And of course, the Eight of Pentacles can, of course, be some financial change there. But it's like, it's because you've worked for it, okay? So you're about to reap some rewards, I feel. Now, for some of you, this is going to be in 2026. For others of you, it'll be after that. So, don't think that whatever work or effort that you're putting into something is in vain, okay? Because it will pay off for you in some way. And remember, Uranus is our lovely little wild card. So you never really quite know what way this will pay off for you, but just trust in the process and that it will. All right. I'll leave that there for you, Scorpio. Good luck with this transit. Hello there, Sagittarius, and welcome to your Uranus in Gemini reading, kicking off a 7-year cycle for you guys in your 7th house of relationships and contracts. So, you could be experiencing growth in your relationships, okay? Leveling up, taking something in the next level. You might be opening and expanding lines of communication. You could be more open to meeting new people as well, right? So this can be very interesting. The 7th house, yes, it does have to do with your romantic relationships, your friendships, your business partnerships. So you could have some new beginnings, some change, and some evolution in those areas. 7th house does also have to do with contracts, though. And so business contracts, legal contracts, the 7th house is ruled by Libra, justice. Okay, so this might be where you seek justice for others, or maybe you get justice for yourself in some way. Okay, any contracts that may head your way, make sure you look at both sides of the page and all your fine print, okay, because Gemini is the sign of duality, and that includes good and bad, light and dark, that kind of thing, 2 sides, right? So, so you might have some negotiations. You might find someone that can help you negotiate things, especially any legalities that you may be dealing with somewhere there. But whatever paperwork that you are dealing with, okay, something legal where you have to sign your name and you're bound to it in some way, make sure that you are reading all of the fine print and that you have a deep understanding of it. Because Uranus can bring you those surprises, okay? Good surprises, but also ones that are like, oh man, I missed that paragraph, and we don't want to be in that situation, okay? So forewarned is forearmed, okay? But yeah, you could get a new job. You could, be purchasing something. Some of you might be getting married. Some of you, if you're single, you might unexpectedly meet someone new, okay? This can be like a person that is unexpected, or maybe you meet them in some unconventional way. This can be very interesting. Maybe you meet them while you're traveling, right? That can be interesting there for you also. So let's have a look and see what the cards say for you. Our beautiful planet, restore the natural world. The interesting thing with this deck is this deck is called the Golden Future. Okay. And there's a lot of very interesting cards in this deck. But I think this is like the 4th time, maybe the 5th, where we've had something pointing us back to the planet in some way. And so in this energy, I mean, Uranus in Taurus has highlighted some very interesting or scary things with our planet, especially with things like agriculture or our food, how things are processed, how much we waste, even what and how we eat, right? So, or where we discard things. So, I feel like we're being brought back to a little bit more simplicity when it comes to our planet. Number one, we've got giant corporations buying up all the agriculture, all the farmland, right? But the crops that a lot of them are producing aren't staying here, right? Do we need swaths of soybean crops? No, right? Do we need fruits and vegetables and wheat and corn and, whatever else, right? Yes. And we need it to stay here, right? The family farms, right? These poor little family farmers, right? They're finding it more difficult to stay afloat, right? And if you're a family farmer, you're not in it for riches. You're in it for the love of the land. You're in it for, feeling connected with the earth and providing for your family and your community, right? And sure, of course, make some money, right? We're human, but you're not out there looking to make billions. And there are, you do hear about some where it's like, this farm has been in my family for 150 years, and I'm not going to sell it out to some big corporation. And so instead, they'll give their farm, or they'll will their farm, to, I think there's like a trust, like an agriculture trust or something like that. So there's things like that are going on. And, we hear about, farmers, right? And, they can make more money sometimes by, having those soy crops so they can sell them offshore. Well, that's not going so well right now, right? So some are changing their crops and things like that. So you might not be a farmer, right? But you can maybe support local farmers, buy your local produce, go to a local farm to buy your meat if you're a meat eater, that kind of thing, because, keep your money local, right? And there's a huge movement back towards that, but it's nothing new, right? People used to do that. People used to do it all the time, right? Your grandparents, depending how old you are, but your grandparents probably went to the butcher for their meat, the bakery for their bread, the local general store for some other sundries and things, the hardware store, right? And now it's in these giant big box stores where the only people making any money are the corporate billionaires, right? And and they're all getting exposed these days anyway. So, there's a movement for simplicity, connecting back to the earth, connecting with local farmers, things like that, recycling more, moving away from plastics, it's the stuff that 20 years ago people kind of giggled at, laughed at. Oh, you're just a weird hippie. Hello. Why not? What's wrong with that? Right? So you're being called to the earth in some way, to help fix it, to help people see what's going on. Maybe you're called to educate people. Who knows? But this can also be a career prospect for you. We have the Chariot. Wonderful. Now, Chariot is card number 7, and Uranus and Gemini is happening in your 7th house, so there might be something there. 7, and it's a 7-year cycle. Oh, well, look at that, right? 777. So you could have some luck coming your way. That would be nice. Wouldn't it be, Sagittarius? You're supposed to be one of the luckier signs, but I do feel like you've been kind of going through some ups and downs lately. And you're like, okay, can I just have my luck back? Can I just have my mojo back, please? Can we just have things back to normal where things are easier for me? So with the Chariot showing up there, then this might be that time that you're stepping into. So things moving faster, things, overcoming, any challenges a little bit easier than, maybe they have been. But the Chariot is a wonderful card. Now, for one, it is one of movement, Okay, it's one of victory and success. It is a card of destiny, though. The stars aligning for you in some wonderful, magically way. But it is a card about your ambition, your determination, your willpower, your drive, your ability to steer yourself back into your destined path, or maybe discover a better one for yourself. So it is a wonderful card, a wonderful energy, especially in the upright. Okay, the Chariot, right? You are driving yourself forward. You are driving something forward. Now, with this, on a very practical level, the Chariot can represent movement from one place or one situation into another. Now, this can just be achieving something, being successful, whatever it is that you start or create, but this can also represent starting fresh, right? Moving yourself to a new position, a new company, a new relationship, a new city, buying yourself a new car, right? Focusing on how you get yourself around via transportation, right? Beautiful planet and transportation. What does that look like? Are you going to maybe try and bicycle to work? Or are you going to switch yourself from gas to electric? There's pros and cons with everything, right? Electric cars aren't necessarily, they're not maybe as bad as, petroleum-based fuel, but there's downsides to it too, right? You got to look at both sides, right? Uranus and Gemini look at both sides, okay, for sure. All right, but maybe you're looking for a more environmentally responsible form of transportation, or maybe even a commute with your job or something where you can walk to work or bicycle to work, and you're not necessarily reliant on your vehicle all the time. But the Chariot does bring you success in your endeavors because things are aligned for you. The stars are aligned for you, and your energy is aligned in a very positive and powerful way. This is also Cancerian energy linked to your home. So some of you might be moving where you live. And of course, with Uranus in your 7th house, some of you might be getting married. Maybe you're getting divorced. Both of those can happen. Or you might just be moving somewhere for like a job, or maybe moving somewhere that you find more beautiful and you feel more connected with. I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching. Good luck with this transit. Remember, it lasts for 7 years. Okay, some of you are going to start to feel some of the effects of this pretty much right away. Like I said in my intro, when Uranus went into Taurus, it took 1 month in my 4th house for me to feel those effects. I didn't know it at the time, though, because I was dealing with some, personal and relationship stuff. But man, oh man, did it ever create some change for me. And of course, moving where I lived. So sometimes it happens really quickly. But anyways, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hello there, Capricorn. Welcome to your Uranus in Gemini reading, the start of a 7-year cycle for you. This is happening in your 6th house. So your 6th house, is just about your day-to-day life. Your daily work, where you work, how you get to work, your habits and patterns, your daily routines. The things that seem kind of boring and mundane, but are actually really important to focus on, right? And the things that can have effect on us, either accumulatively for the small stuff or in a big way for the big stuff. And, this is where we focus on our health, happiness, and well-being. So some of you are going to shake things up in your daily routines in some way. Perhaps you're looking for some changes, or maybe you don't know that you're looking for some changes, but you're going to get them anyway. Where you work. What do you do for a living, right? What's the location of your job? Is it a long way away from where you live? Is it close to where you live? Are you looking to work from home? Are you looking for something more fulfilling? What does your daily routine look like? Are you a snooze button hitter, right? Do you set your alarm for, 6 a.m., but you really don't have to get up until 7 a.m. and you hit the alarm, 12 times in a row? Maybe that needs to change, right? At least set your alarm for 6:30, hit your snooze button once, and look, you have an extra half an hour and your sleep is less disrupted. Some of you, maybe you're going to switch something up in your daily routine, right? Maybe you're a last minute riser and you're rushing to get out the door. Well, maybe you set your alarm for 15 minutes earlier and you enjoy a cup of coffee, or, maybe you do a little 15 minutes of yoga in your living room, or, just something where you're a little bit more calm in your energy in the mornings before you get out the door. It's the simple things that can set us up for a good day or for a challenging day sometimes, right? Some of you are going to get more physically active. Some of you are going to commit more to daily spiritual practice, right? All of these things go on in our 6th house. So whether we're just being a little bit more innovative, or maybe we're looking for some big changes, right? We're shaking things up there, and we're really being honest with ourselves. Am I happy with this? Do I need to change this? What can I do to make this better? Right? And when we're willing to see the truth and be honest with ourselves, this in itself creates some change. We have spiritual technology. Expand your imagination and share your visions. Interesting. Now, we don't always think of technology and spirit hand in hand. And in fact, a lot of spiritual practices, we're better off staying away from technology because it is energy. However, sometimes we can use technology to help us out on our spiritual path. So, for example, perhaps you are one of those people where you have trouble visualizing. There's a lot of people out there, right? We can't all see movies in our heads, right? Me and my dad, no problem. My sister, untold frustration, right? Because she can't do it, and she's, number one, jealous that we can, but she puts a lot of pressure on herself. And I'm like, let go of the pressure. Well, you don't need to see a movie in your head. Connect with the energy instead. However, we can sometimes turn to technology to help a little bit. Some of you like guided meditations, some of you don't. But if you're having trouble visualizing or connecting or quieting your conscious mind, or, you just find that you just have trouble with meditation, right? A guided meditation can actually be freeing for you, and it can be very helpful. Because why? You're just in the flow of the meditation. You're in the flow of the voice giving you a little bit of guidance, and it can take a lot of pressure off. And especially, I wouldn't say especially if you're new to meditation, because you know what? I love guided meditations. I actually sleep to them, right? Hate sleep hypnosis kind of stuff, right? Because it feeds your subconscious, right? While you're sleeping. Man, oh man, do they ever work, right? But I'm a pretty deep sleeper, so they don't wake me up. Some people it doesn't work for, because you might be a light sleeper. But even if you're just doing like a regular meditation, right? It can just help you. And it can give you ideas and things. So you can use technology for that for sure. But this can be very much about really tapping into your third eye, okay? It's not necessarily about technology itself, okay? This is about the 5th dimension, okay? Sometimes, we may find, right, especially with Uranus and Gemini, there may be some scientific breakthroughs, okay, with helping us to open up to light energy and to spiritual energy and all that kind of stuff, right? So there could be that kind of stuff going on, all right? But ultimately, this is about your third eye and your vision and your ability to hold your vision, believe in your vision, and create your vision. Okay, all very active for you. But also share your vision as well with other people. The great visionaries, right? They don't have to be spiritual people, but the visionaries, the inventors, they shared what they believed, right? They created things. Imagine if people like Einstein or, other scientific people, or Tesla, right? Even as well. Imagine if these people never shared their vision. never shared what they wanted to create or what they did create, right? We wouldn't have advanced as much as we have, right? Yes, other people would have come in, but it probably wouldn't be the same, right? So share your vision in some way. And maybe by sharing your imagination, sharing your vision with other people, whether it's spiritual or not, can actually be the light and the voice that you lend to the world that can actually create a new way of thinking, a new way of being, a new way of living. All active there for you. That is actually your pineal gland that's activated right there. And then we've got your third eye right there as well. We've got the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups is a reminder to stay engaged, okay? Because we've got like some disengaged energy, right? We've got our little decked out llama there going, not interested. And so we do need to stay engaged in things. But sometimes we have to infuse new ideas and innovation to help keep us engaged. So when you feel yourself losing contact or feeling a little bit disassociated with things or feeling the sense of apathy, take the opportunity, okay, to recognize it, number one, and to seek out new ways that, or new things, or new ideas, or new teachings, or a new book that can help you to re-engage with whatever it is you're doing, spiritual or not, okay, with your day-to-day. The Four of Cups also is a reminder there that sometimes we're not finding what we're looking for because we've got tunnel vision. And we need to open up because quite often, as is Uranus energy, something hits us out of left field. That's right field, left field, left field. There we go. Something hits us right out of the side, comes in out of the blue. And sometimes we need to remember to be open to different things that we hadn't thought of, things that we never thought to think of. Because that's often where the opportunities are. That's often where the growth is. And that is often where something very exciting is laying there for us, okay? So keep that open mind, right? When you catch yourself in tunnel vision, okay, stop, open, and expand, all right? And that will be very, very helpful for you. But with the Four of Cups, I do feel there's something coming in. You just can't see it yet. You're not open to it quite yet. But it's something that you want or something that you've wished for. It might be help, might be an opportunity. It might just be something that catches your attention, whatever it happens to be. It might be really big, or it might be just something that's small but has a lot of potential. So, but you'll know it and you'll see it and you'll feel it when it comes in. So do expect, I would say with this, Uranus is going to give you a bop on the side of the head in some way, okay? It'll be good, but it'll be quite the shock or quite the surprise. All right, I'll leave that there for you guys. Good luck with this transit. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Hello there, Aquarius, and welcome to your Uranus and Gemini reading. So you guys are probably you're in a pretty good position here, Aquarius. So number one, this Uranus and Gemini is transiting through your fifth house. And your fifth house is a pretty good place to have the majority of planets travel through. The fifth house is fun. It's pleasure. It's love and romance. It's our hobbies, our creative outlets. It's the things that we do that bring us pleasure and joy. And it is a focus on opening our heart and having fun with people, with situations, with things, and creating the things that we love and all these kind of things. So it's really quite sparkly. It can be romance and love affairs. Okay. Sometimes there's pregnancy in here, and especially with Uranus. So just be careful of twins. Okay. Twins, Gemini twins. All right. But when we have Uranus and Gemini in your fifth house, but we also have a sextile with both Pluto in your house and also Saturn all happening in 2026 for you. So, this can be where you get serious about, about a creative endeavor, or about a hobby that you have. So maybe you pluck the strings on a guitar every once in a while, and you've always kind of been dreaming of, I'm gonna be like, a really good guitar player kind of thing, and you just don't have the discipline. Well, with with Uranus and Gemini sextiling Saturn in 2026, Saturn is when we do get serious about things. And, sextile it's a very pleasant energy, but it's pure potential, right? So you could be tapping into your potential, and something can change, and maybe you change your schedule, or maybe you change your outlook and you start to get really serious about playing that guitar. And wherever you take this step is where you're going to succeed, right? So this can be very helpful to create some very positive change that has long-lasting effect. And I just use the guitar as an example, but it can be pretty much anything, right? Whatever you set your heart to, okay? So we can be having some really positive things going on in your sign, in the 5th house for you with this Uranus Gemini transit, not just in 2026, but also beyond that as well. But expect the unexpected. And like I said, because the 5th house can bring about some love affairs and things, just be very aware of surprise pregnancies, and with Uranus and Gemini, twins. Okay. We have the golden cities: live ecologically and harmoniously. All right. There's a lot of focus here with the messages coming out about Earth and about restoring Earth, living back to Earth, living ecologically and harmoniously, right? Live in communities. It's very interesting. So Aquarius, when people think of Aquarian energy and the age of Aquarius, right? A lot of times we kind of think back to the 60s when this age of Aquarius movement first started. Or maybe it was like the early 70s, might be that as well. And we are in the age of Aquarius now. And so when we think back to, kind of hippie culture, it was about connecting with the earth. It was about growing your own food. It was about being free, being non-conformist, being connected with spirit, right? Being connected with all these things. Went against the grain, rebellious energy, right? A little bit, but also, for some people living in communities, right? Where we all share in the resources, we all share in the work, right? And, it's for the benefit of us all, kind of thing. And, as we go forward, we can see some things that are happening in the world, and especially in the US, right? Front and center. Okay. You don't need to be a genius to see what's going on, right? And things are being revealed. Pluto in Aquarius, bringing the power back to the people, rebellious energy, revolutionary energy. But part of that is to see a new light, to see a new way, right? And we see the global economy has, especially COVID, right? COVID shot the cost of everything up, but it never came down. Now, why is that? Pluto will show you, right? Part of that, yes, okay, supply and demand, right? It's always going to have a fluctuation on things, right? But also we look at our farms, or we look at, our food processing facilities, and, we don't know what's going in our food anymore, usually fillers, to keep us fat and full. It's, our farmers are losing their land. We get more and more products shipped in from Lord only knows where. And, but the corporations have taken over. Now, if you're anything like me, I don't think anyone who provides food, yes, sure, you should make a profit because it's a business and you have to run the business and all that kind of stuff, fine. But no one should be becoming a billionaire off of the food supply, right? It just doesn't work, right? It just, I mean, hey, it might work for one billionaire, but it doesn't work for, a couple hundred million people. So there is this kind of shift back to locally grown produce, going to your local farm, growing your own food. For some people, there is this movement as well about getting together with a bunch of people in kind of a more communal environment. Some people are just buying up acres and acres of land, building a whole bunch of houses so you'll have your own space, but then you've got like all of your land that you share, right? And it can be very, very beneficial to a lot of people. So there's this movement going back towards that. So with the live ecologically and harmoniously, the golden cities, the golden future, what does this look like to you, right? It may just be buying more local produce, more local meats or dairy or whatever you eat. It may be growing some of your own food, maybe not all, maybe your climate won't support that, but doing some of that so that you can limit the amount of stuff that you buy overseas, or limit the amount of money you put in a billionaire's pocket. Learn to make your own bread. It's actually pretty easy. All of this kind of stuff. So you might be really looking at the future here, Aquarius. And, because the fifth house is very creative, right? And this can be where you learn some of all of this stuff, right? So again, some of the messages that are coming out of this particular deck, there's stuff here about money and technology and all this kind of stuff, but it's all coming back to the earth, and making the earth and the world a better place. So we do have a huge collective shift in consciousness and energy going on. And as the old dinosaurs cough and die away, right? As the old upper billionaire class echelon, gets out of the way for a better way of thinking, right? Then, we see this shift more and more and more. And so you can be part of it. We've got the King of Pentacles. Hey, look at that. So some of you here, the King of Pentacles is all about being committed to something, okay? Taking the lead, being in charge, being committed, and being a master of your craft, a master of your skills. So again, some of you here, as we go through 2026, you might be getting really serious about something that starts out as a hobby or something fun to do or something that feeds your soul in some way, gives you a lot of pleasure, and you might figure out a way to make some money out of it, or you just might be mastering your craft, mastering your skill. Now you can perhaps funnel and channel this energy into helping other people in some way, or maybe inspiring other people in some way. The King of Pentacles can also represent success in business, in real estate, in financial matters. It does bring about some financial stability and security here. The King of Pentacles can also be an important figure in your life. Okay, this can be someone you partner up with in business. This can be someone that teaches you something. They have a lot of knowledge. This can be like a new boss or something, or a new friend, or, perhaps a relationship that starts out fun, fun with no strings, and all of a sudden we get serious and we get committed with that King of Pentacles, but it's all good. It is all in the upright. It's all in the up and up. So love that coming in there for you. I've rambled on enough. That is what I have for you guys. Enjoy your transit. Again, this might be a lot easier. And of course, Uranus is your modern day ruler anyway. So you're used to Uranus's shenanigans. And I feel like you have the skills to navigate this in the most beneficial way for you. You're not scared of Uranus transits, okay? And that's what I'm getting at. So I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching, and have fun. Hello there, Pisces, and welcome to your Uranus and Gemini reading, a new 7-year cycle for you, and this is happening in your 4th house. Now, your 4th house has to do with your home, where you live, who you live with, okay? Also has to do with your nurturing parent. So that could be you, could be your significant other, but it could actually be one of your parents. Most often the mother, Cancerian energy, the moon, the mother, okay? But it can be whatever parent is the most nurturing out of your group. And of course, it has to do with your siblings there as well. Now, I will say, with Uranus in your 4th house, you could get some news or some information that you have to move. All right. And it can be quite unexpected, and it may actually be a little bit of a shock to the system. Okay. So it might come from your landlord. It may come from your significant other, someone that you live with. You could also get a shock that maybe your parent can't live on their own alone and needs to move in with you. You might not have enough space. So then you might need to sell your house or look for a different place to rent or buy so that you have enough room to fit everyone in. So that kind of thing. So a move within your home, even if it's not you directly, it can be, maybe one of your children moves out of the house unexpectedly, that kind of thing. That can happen there as well. Okay, but something around there is very much in the cards for you. Okay, and if you heard my story at the introduction, when Uranus went into Taurus, it was in my 4th house. And within 1 month of it going into my 4th house is when I discovered I needed to move. It was quite shocking, ultimately very beneficial, but very difficult to deal with at the time due to the circumstances that were around it. So hopefully your circumstances are a little bit better, and hopefully it's a little less shocking, and you're in a little bit more in control. But no matter what, it will bring you to a better place in the long run, okay? So you might get some shocks and surprises. That's really the order of the day when Uranus is involved. We have teleportation and levitation, expand your gifts and powers. Okay, so this is a time of spiritual awakening for us all, right? Uranus is the great awakener. And so you might be really, you might be interested in something just a little bit out of the ordinary. So maybe you are, kind of curious about teleportation, levitating something, right? And now this can be, of course, in your day-to-day, right? This could be something that you really want to do. Now, can you teleport? Well, I don't know. I saw some weird thing where there's some who is it? The head or the some high up dude in FEMA or something like that keeps claiming that he's been teleporting to a Waffle House. I mean, hey, I guess if you're going to teleport somewhere and you got a hankering for some pancakes or a waffle, I guess, I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. I don't know. Some people are like, well, yeah, that's what happens when you're blackout drunk, is that you get a craving for something, right? Usually breakfast, maybe. So, I don't know, but he claims that it's true, right? So who can say? I would say this as, maybe that is some gifts and powers that you're interested in. But I would say that this is a little bit more existential than that, okay? Now, this can be about lucid dreaming, astral travel, right? It doesn't have to be your physical body that is teleporting or levitating, okay? So this can be where, again, not everybody is into the astral travel and stuff, the lucid dreaming, but I am. And when I first started with it, it was I used sleep meditations, guided sleep meditations. I'm a deep sleeper, so they don't keep me awake or anything like that. It won't work for everybody if you're a light sleeper, probably. Although maybe it'll put you to sleep, right? You never know. But I'm telling you, on the nights, these days I just do it via intention. I just do a couple minutes of kind of meditation as I'm laying there, and I set the intention that, I'm going to have a lucid dream, or I'm going to do some astral traveling or whatever, right? And it's pretty cool. Okay, I will say it's pretty cool. So this might be something that's like kind of a little bit of a gift that you have, or maybe something that you're interested in. But this can have to do with your dreams and with your connection to spirit in general. Okay, this can be a great time of heightening your spiritual connections in whatever way levitates towards you, right? So whatever way kind of catches your attention. Okay. And it may be a little bit weird to some other people, or it might be something that's a little bit more unconventional. But nurture your gifts. Okay. You are, you are a spiritual being. You guys are empaths. Your fourth house is ruled by the moon. Okay. So really all about the spirit. Okay. In whatever way that floats your boat. And we have the Knight of Swords, okay? Communication on point right here. The Knight of Swords is, a lot of fast forward momentum. The Knight of Swords brings swift news and communication and things that you usually need to act upon quite quickly. It can bring news out of the blue. Okay, communication out of the blue. And so that's very Uranus in its energy anyway. And of course, Gemini does tend to be quite quick and a focus on communication and things as well. Gemini energy also is connected with your third house, right? And your third house is about your neighborhood, right? Who lives around you, who your neighbors are, right? But also the neighborhood you live in, right? So again, some of you may have something changing in that regard there as well. But the lines of communication on every level are open here with that Knight of Swords, and things can come in and happen really quickly. But he is in the upright there, so we're in safe territory, and where nothing can hurt you, right? Things might be shocking, they might be surprising, they might require you to make some change, or to act upon something quite quickly, but they are things that will benefit you in the long run. I'll leave all that there for you guys. I do thank you for watching, and good luck in this transit. Bye.